Introduction. Ar Rahnu is a Sharia-compliant Islamic pawnbroking system. It offers short-term microcredit by pawning valuable items, usually gold, without riba. So why is Ar Rahnu important? It helps B40 and M40 groups access emergency funds, and it's alternative to conventional pawnbroking, which involves riba, and encourage financial inclusion in the Muslim community. Despite its benefits, Ar Rahnu faces several community-level challenges. First, limited public knowledge. Many still unaware of how Ar Rahnu works or confuse it with conventional pawn shops. Second, limited accessibility in rural areas. Third, limitation of acceptable items. Fourth, compliance with Sharia principles. Lastly, regulatory caps and lack of consumer protection. So Ar Rahnu has a great potential, but several structural and practical issues need to be addressed to maximize its impact in helping in the community.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon everyone. Today I will be presenting on the topic the issue limited public knowledge of Ar Rahnu. Ar Rahnu is a Sharia-compliant financing method that provides short-term interest-free loans using gold as collateral. It is meant to help people in financial need without involving riba or unfair conditions. Although Ar Rahnu has many benefits and is widely available, many people still don't really understand how it works, and that is the main problem. The lack of public knowledge about Ar Rahnu is not just about people not hearing about it. Even those who have heard of it often don't know the details. They may assume it works like a normal pawn shop or that it includes hidden charges. Some are confused by the Islamic finance terms used, such as run, card, or upah simpan. These terms sound technical and can scare people away, especially if no one explains to them clearly. This confusion and misunderstanding are not limited to people in rural areas. It can happen to anyone: students, working adults, even businesses owners. Because of this, many people continue to borrow from conventional pawn shops or illegal lenders, even though Ar Rahnu is a safer and fairer option. When the public does not fully understand a financial product, they are less likely to trust it or use it. This is not only limits Ar Rahnu's ability to help the community, but it also slows down the growth of Islamic finance overall. To fix this, we need more education and awareness. Information about Ar Rahnu should be shared using simple language, real-life examples, and through channels people use every day like social medias, schools, mosques, and community events. We also need trained staff who can explain things clearly and maybe even include Islamic finance in school lessons so younger generations can grow up with that knowledge. Thank you.
Now, let's move on to the issue 2, which is about the limited accessibility of Ar Rahnu services in rural areas. Many rural communities still can't access Ar Rahnu branches easily. This is mainly due to geographical remoteness, which is some villages are located far from towns or cities, poor transportation infrastructure, meaning that limited roads or public transport options make traveling to Ar Rahnu branches difficult. This challenge mostly affects the B40 income group, especially those living in remote areas. These are people who really need quick and ethical financial help. But without Ar Rahnu nearby, they are often forced to travel long distances to reach a branch or turn to conventional pawn shop, which may not follow Islamic financial principles. This goes against Ar Rahnu's core purpose, which is to promote financial inclusion through a Sharia compliance. To solve this issue, we suggest several strategies, which is the first one is Ar Rahnu can introduce mobile service units. These are vans or trucks with trained officer and digital tools, which going directly into rural communities on scheduled days. Just like mobile banking or zakat vans, this approach has shown success in similar microfinance settings. The second one is Ar Rahnu can create digital platforms and agent-based model. Here, trusted community members are trained to help customers submit documents, collect collateral, and provide information. Final approvals can be done remotely by Ar Rahnu headquarters. And the third and lastly is partner AZIZ outlets like Post Malaysia or community banks. This let Ar Rahnu expand without building a new branch.
However, there is one major limitation that is holding back its full potential, and that is the restricted range of acceptable collateral items. Right now, Ar Rahnu mainly accepts the pure jewelry gold as the collateral. Gold is preferred because it is easy to evaluate, liquid in the market, and possess less risk for the institution. But this limitation unfortunately excludes many people, especially those who do not own the gold. Let me give you a simple example. A young entrepreneur in an urban area might not own any gold, but he might own a motorcycle that is used for deliveries or hold a valuable business license. Yet these items are not accepted by most Ar Rahnu institutions. This pushes people away from Sharia-compliant solutions and forces them into conventional pawn shops that charge a high interest rate, or worse, leaves them without any help at all. This is not just a financial limitation, and it is also a contradiction to the goal of inclusive Islamic finance. So, what can we do? Let's now move on to the resolution proposed to overcome this issue. First of all, we need to consider broadening the definition of the acceptable collateral, or known as marhun. Previously, marhun was mostly associated with gold, but to be more relevant in today's economic context, Sharia advisory boards can work together to expand the definition. This means allowing a wider range of the movable and immovable assets such as the vehicle, ownership papers, land titles, business licenses, and even sukuk or shares. By doing this, the Ar Rahnu can open its doors to a larger and more diverse group, especially the youth, small business owners, and the rural communities who may not own any gold but still have the assets of the real value. However, we must be cautious. These changes need to come with strong risk assessment frameworks to ensure that the items are stable, legal, and easy to verify. This protects not only the institution but also the customer and keeps the system in line with the Sharia compliance. Secondly, we must talk about the importance of the standardizing valuation mechanism. As we start accepting more types of assets, from cars to sukuk, the valuation process becomes more complex. Unlike the gold, which is universally recognized and stable, these items require expert appraisal. To ensure the fairness and the consistency, Ar Rahnu institutions can partner with the certified valuers or even trusted auction houses. They can provide a professional and market-aligned valuations. Additionally, the digital valuation tools can be introduced, and these will help reduce the human errors, speed up the processing times, and maintain the consistency across all the branches. A digital system also improves the transparency, which is key to building customer trust. In short, creating a standardized and open valuation system will not only reduce disputes but also ensure the Ar Rahnu can fairly serve a broader range of customers. And to conclude, the Ar Rahnu institutions truly want to remain relevant and impactful, especially in today's evolving economy. They must look beyond the gold by expanding the types of acceptable collateral and improving the valuation processes. We can make Ar Rahnu more accessible, inclusive, and trusted while still preserving the noble values of Islamic finance.
Alright, we move on to the fourth issue. Although Ar Rahnu is designed to be a Sharia-compliant alternative to convenient pawn shop or conventional bank, there are still compliance challenges in practice. So the first issue is this issue mainly arises because of inconsistency of implementation of Sharia concepts. For example, while ujra or safekeeping fees is allowed, some institutions blur the line and unintentionally charge what feels like hidden interest. This creates confusion among the customers. So the second challenges is the lack of proper Sharia auditing or supervision. So especially in smaller or less regulated institutions, without proper checks, the system can drift away from its Islamic foundation. Alright, so as a result, public trust and confidence in Ar Rahnu can be affected. People may start to question, is this really different from conventional bank? Alright, so to address this issue, there are several resolutions can be implemented. First, there should be stricter Sharia governance, including regular audits and compliance monitoring to ensure all practice align with the Islamic principle. So for the second one, Institutions must have clear and transparent fee structures, make it easy for customers to distinguish between legitimate services, charges, and prohibited elements like riba. And the last but not least, third, staff training and public educations are essential to ensure the both of the employees and customers understand how Ar Rahnu truly works and why it is different from conventional bank or pawn shop. In short, protecting the integrity of Ar Rahnu requires firm commitment to Sharia compliance at every level. Thank you, that's all for me.
Regulatory gaps and insufficient consumer protection, where conventional pawn shops operate under the Pawnbrokers Act 1972, Ar Rahnu lacks similarly robust legal frameworks, leaving users vulnerable to unfair valuation of collateral, inconsistent pricing, and minimal recourse in dispute. Incidents of accepting fake gold, lack of standardized valuation, and auction practices have been reported, weakening trust and risking customer losses. Academic studies emphasize that strengthening legal standards is crucial to safeguard customer welfare and institutional reliability. The ethical standards of Ar Rahnu, particularly in line with Maqasid al-Sharia, are also inconsistent, with inadequacies in ensuring transparent processes, customer right protection, and ethical conduct by operators. This mismatch between ethical expectation and real-world practice can erode reputation, limiting Ar Rahnu's role as a trust-based microfinance alternative in vulnerable communities. Resolution: implement regulatory oversight aligned with Maqasid al-Sharia. The government and regulatory bodies, for example Bank Negara Malaysia, should develop an Ar Rahnu specific regulatory framework mirroring consumer protection standards in Islamic pawn laws, covering asset valuation audits, transparent fee disclosure, and customer complaint channel. Additionally, institute regular Shariah governance reviews to ensure alignment with Maqasid principle. Improved regulation will reduce fraud cases, increase trust, and elevate Ar Rahnu as a reliable Islamic microfinancing option.
Conclusion and recommendation. Ar Rahnu offers a Sharia-compliant alternative to conventional pawnbroking, especially useful for emergency funding and microfinancing. However, its impact is limited due to lack of public awareness, rural inaccessibility, item restrictions, mostly gold, Sharia compliance complexity, and weak regulations and consumer protection. These issues reduce effectiveness and limit Ar Rahnu reach amongst those who need it most, and especially in underserved areas. Recommendations: improving Ar Rahnu for the community. First, public awareness campaigns. Use media, malls, and community centers to educate people about Ar Rahnu and its benefits. Expand rural access, mobile Ar Rahnu units, or integrate into existing post offices, co-ops, and rural banks. Third and last, diversify acceptable collaterals. Explore accepting other Sharia-compliant items such as silver, watch, even digital assets with proper valuation. So that's all from us. Thank you.